Welcome back, everyone. This is WRPB Studios, and I am Christina Michelle. Today we have the very lovely Christina Dimitrov. She is the owner of RN Beauty. Welcome, Christina. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. So, RN Beauty, I of course hear registered nurse first, and I see your scrubs here, but what does RN Beauty stand for?
Radiate Natural Beauty.
And where did that name originate from?
I wanted to use RN because I felt like that was something that's unique about me. And the main reason I did this is because I want people to feel naturally beautiful. So it kind of just went right with it.
Wonderful. So, what services do you offer at RN Beauty?
I offer permanent makeup. So right now I'm mostly doing eyebrows. Um, there's either microblading or nano, which is the hair stroke look, or powder brows, which is more like a makeup look, but it can look very natural if done right. And I also offer removal and lightening for people who have had previous work and they just don't really like it anymore or want it lighter or something like that.
Nice. So you do face tattoos then?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I like that you're able to offer the removal as well because there's so many different permanent makeup artists out there nowadays, and some of them are not reputable, and people aren't always doing their due diligence, and then they end up with a really bad service that leaves them dissatisfied and completely takes them on the opposite end of what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long has RN Beauty been working?
I opened in November of 2023. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And what were you doing before then?
I am still a nurse. I work Monday through Friday at a surgery center. Um, I don't know that I'll ever give up nursing. I just love it. But I do want to do this mostly full time eventually. Um, so I still do that.
So, like you being a regular nurse during the day, a registered nurse, not just a regular nurse, but you being in the medical field, do you ever get any of your medical patients looking for your cosmetic services?
They don't usually most people don't think I would do it, honestly. They're like, "You do eyebrows?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do that." And it's mostly like, "Hey, I like your eyebrows a lot." And I'm like, "Would you ever think about doing your eyebrows?" And most people really, they don't think about it that much. But once they come and they have it done, it's like, "Why did I never think to do this before?" It makes such a big difference.
Yeah, I feel like the eyebrows are like the teeth of the forehead. And
Mhm.
again, like you said, it's not something people realize until they actually get it done, where they're like, wow, I needed this.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much confusion because we're so used to the regular eyebrow services that you get in your average hair salon, your nail salon.
Mhm.
It's your $7 waxing, but the
Mhm.
service you offer is actually set up in a medical environment. Like this is a much more professional service with
Mhm.
someone who has to be medically trained, whereas in a regular nail or hair salon, it's just an apprenticeship style.
Mhm.
Is that correct? Is that an
Well, you don't
accurate?
have to be medically trained.
No?
I'm a tattoo artist,
Ah.
but it's more like a sterile technique. It's not sterile, it's a clean procedure, but you would want to go to somebody who has that medical background or can keep it clean. Nobody wants an infection on their face.
Mm-mm. I've seen those. Those don't look good. So what were you doing before you began pursuing RN beauty?
I'm a mom. I was actually on maternity leave when I decided to do this.
Really?
I don't know if that was hormones, but and I was actually on maternity leave when I decided to get my eyebrows done. So that just seems like a trend for me. Um, I had my second daughter, and I never would have thought to do my eyebrows. You do not want to see what they look like before. They were uneven. Basically an upside Nike sign
Oh
was on my
no,
face,
you had
upside
fish
down.
hooks. The
Yes,
fish
just like that.
hooks.
I tried to grow them back. Doesn't look good. I
Mm-mm.
tried all the serums, I tried everything. It just would not grow back. Someone came to work one day after I got back to work, and I was like, "What did you do to your eyebrows?" And they were like, "I had them microbladed." So I got the girl's information. I looked into it. I'm like, wow, this is kind of expensive. And it's scary because it's permanent on your
Mm-hmm.
face. So I did a lot of research and I watched this girl for a while before I decided to get mine done because it's scary. And I get that because I was scared too. And I didn't know I needed it until it was done. Once it was done, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, this is what I needed. I was going through a mom phase, like, I don't like my body, I don't like the way I feel, and it just, I don't know, it really changed that feeling inside of me to be like, maybe I do want to look at myself in the mirror a little bit.
Yeah, it's so important to feel good about what you look like, to feel good about yourself. But I think that a lot of people confuse these types of services with like a superficial venture. And it's not always that. You have cancer patients who suffer from hair loss. You have people who are born with things like alopecia, so they don't have eyebrows. So giving them the opportunity to be able to conform to society standards of beauty, even though it's still a standard of beauty, it's still a standard of well-being. So I think that's what's really important. You know, my grandmother, for example, when you age, you start to lose your hair on your face, your eyebrows turn really white, and she just wanted to feel good about herself. And then she finally made the decision to get the service, and very satisfied, no looking back. So, how does it feel? Because I've never done any kind of permanent makeup, and I have a few little subtle bad decision tattoos from when I was 18. But what's that sensation when you have that needle on your face?
So for the microblading, I would say it's probably out of the 3 eyebrow procedures the more uncomfortable, just because it's a blade. You're using a little tiny.
Wow, that's
See how
really
tiny it is?
small.
It's more of like the
Ah.
sensation that feels weird because it sounds like Rice Krispies. It's like, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable. So it's just like, basically you just feel like someone's scratching your face a little bit for the microblading, and then the powder brows and the nano, which is basically machine hair strokes. Most
So,
people don't say it hurts at all. I numb you the entire time. I numb you before, I numb you during, the whole way through. I've had people sleep. So I'm gonna guess it really doesn't hurt that bad. It was
or
a long
it,
time ago
it
for me, but
it just might be their kink. They're enjoying the pain.
I don't know.
I have an aunt who's fallen asleep while being at the dentist. She's like, it just feels like a massage to me. I'm like, you are weird. Keep that on the streets. Keep that attitude on the streets. But let me see some of your tools. So, can you explain to me? So, you have microblading, which is done with a regular blade like this.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have, you said nano brows and powder brows. So, can you explain to me? I already know this one because they'll take the needle and they'll run it up this way. But what's the difference between nano brows and powder brows?
So nano brows is microblading with a tattoo machine. I'm making hair strokes with the tattoo machine versus the blade.
And which design would it be here that you see here? So this is
This is nano. So these
okay.
are all done with the machine, but this is microblading, and look how similar they look.
That is very similar.
But this can be done on any skin type, whether it's oily or, not as tight or larger pores. It heals better later on. Powder brows is more of a solid, but you can always make it lighter if you don't want it to be solid. Some people just want it to look like they just put a little bit there so that you can see a shape.
Are the powder brows like the ombre brows?
So powder brows is the term, basically just, it looks like you have a powder on your brow. Ombre is dark to light.
Gotcha.
So you can do both techniques together, which I actually like better. I'm not a huge fan of the square fronts, but some people, that's what they like. So, to each their own. But I want it to look natural. That's why I went into this. So I try to do the ombre because it looks more natural.
So on average, how long does the standard session last?
Everybody's different, but typically it's about 3 hours. Sometimes it could be 4. It just depends on like what I'm working with. Sometimes there's nothing there. That either makes it really easy or it makes it more difficult, because if you're not used to seeing yourself with eyebrows, it takes you a minute to be like, oh, I do like this shape.
I see. So sometimes it takes a little time for it to grow on the person. It must be a shock too to go from not having eyebrows or to have very little eyebrows and then have this full thing. Just like I've said before, that I've tried coloring my eyebrows before, and like I can't look at myself. I feel like a clown with makeup on. To other people, it might be completely natural when they look at me, but I'm like, absolutely not. Like I have these 2 caterpillars on my forehead now. So first session, 3 to 4 hours. is one session enough?
If you have previous work done, one session is usually enough. It's like when you paint, you have to prime first. That just gets your skin ready to be able to hold the ink and everything. And then the touch up is where you perfect the shape, the color. Some people want it bolder, thicker, darker. So the touch up really is important. A lot of people try to just do the first session, but it just, you don't get those finishing touches that you want.
So usually on average, you want like your first session and then a touch-up session to really perfect the look that you're trying to get. And how long does it last?
So I get this question a lot. If your skin's really oily, it's not going to last as long
And why is that?
because the oil pushes the ink out.
Ah.
So people who have drier skin, it's going to last longer because there's nothing forcing the ink to want to come out. Not that it comes out, like pours out, you know what I
Right.
mean. But it pushes more to the surface, fades. So typically, mine haven't been touched in over 4 years.
Wow. That's not noticeable. They look still very fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So 4 years. So I mean, depending on the skin type, the skin care,
The ink that's used.
and the ink that's used, how do you know when you have good quality ink versus not good quality ink? Like, how is that sourced?
So when I did my training, I made sure I chose somebody who I personally know how their results heal because I want to know what kind of ink they use. And they've been in the business for a long time. So I learned from the best, honestly. And after I learned from her, I did a lot of research on my own and I just picked Tina Davies. They've been out there forever. Everybody trusts them. Their inks don't change color because I'm sure people have seen yellow, red, green, not the greatest looking eyebrows, which is not what you get the service for. You don't want to have that on your face. So I make sure I use the best ink. And if you're looking for another artist somewhere else, just make sure that you do your research.
So I'm assuming that this is an industry that's predominantly geared towards women, but do you ever have any male clients come in?
I haven't, but I wish that I had more men.
Not yet.
I haven't had men.
You know, I see in like countries like Korea, they're very into their skincare routine and they are developing like man makeup. So there's got to be at least one man out there who wants some more masculine eyebrows.
I would love to do a man.
There we go.
I would.
I would love to do a man too. Absolutely. We are on the same boat. So when someone comes in, what's the process to like figure out the ideal shape that they need?
So I use your eyebrow hair the most that I can because nobody wants to have to pluck and shave. And some people, they just don't keep up with the maintenance. If you do an eyebrow that's nowhere near their eyebrow hair, well, they're going to end up with 2 eyebrows and that's not going to look good for them or you. So I look at your face shape. Is it wider? Is it narrow? I see the shape you have now. You show me what you like. We pick colors. We do it all together. I draw it out before you even get to have anything done.
Is this the tool here that you use? How does that work?
This is a caliper. So over and over and over and over, I check and check and check and make sure it's the same the whole way through. You don't want one eyebrow that's thicker than the other. And honestly, perfection isn't the end result that you're looking for. It's just more symmetry. Some people, like my last client, she said, I want my eyebrows to be sassy.
Ooh, I like it. So you should have them. You should offer them the look called the Rock, where just one eyebrow is always just raised a little bit more.
That's
I
a
look
lot
good.
of work. You know, I have learned that you have to shape somebody when they're looking at you because if you do it laying down and they sit up, they're like, and I'm like, no, put your eyebrows down because this is not. So people pull, their muscles pull differently. You have to just go with their face.
Yeah, very nice. So, was there anything else? Like you said that powder brows are your favorite, but is there any other service that maybe in the future you're thinking about offering?
I am currently signed up for a lip blushing and lip neutralizing class, which can be natural, it can be bold, My last client was like, when you do lips, I want to come in and have red lips. This is a
Yes.
sassy girl, which totally fit her personality. I loved her so much. But I'm doing lips. My main goal would be I really want to learn 3D areolas.
It's funny you said that because that's kind of where I was going with it. I totally wanted to be like, do you do nipples?
That is my end goal. I would love to do that because I worked at the Cancer Treatment Centers of America for 5 years, and I know I've watched people look at themselves and eyebrows, nipples, things that you wouldn't think are important. When they're
Yeah.
not there, they're important.
That's beautiful. And just to clarify by what Christina is saying is that she's planning on learning how to do areolas in the future because when women are diagnosed with breast cancer, they have to undergo a mastectomy. So they get that tissue removed. A lot of times they have to get their entire nipple removed. And if they do decide to undergo reconstruction, they'll get implants, but they still have no nipple. So it just looks like two softballs that are under flesh. So I love that because you can come in and color that in. And again, it's just that thing that makes us feel human. It's that thing that makes us feel like we are part of the world that we were born into. So I think that's really beautiful. You make me want to lose a nipple right now. I think that's awesome.
Well, I don't know how to put them on yet, but I will learn for you.
That's so wonderful. Was there anything else you'd like our audience to know?
Basically, I hope you come see me. I would love to help you feel better about yourself. It doesn't have to be your eyebrows. It doesn't have to be your lips. If you want to come in for a free consult and just hang out with me and talk to me, that's what I got into this for. I want to help people. That's just something I love to do.
Yes. And just to add on one other thing, there's people with hairlines who have receding hairlines and can also microblade and tattoo a little bit on their crown to give that appearance that it's not as much of a 5 head, but a bit more of a 4 head.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Well, if any clients want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
I have Instagram. I have Facebook. You can call me. You can text me. You can email me. Whatever's the easiest way for you to communicate with me. If you want to do a FaceTime, I'll do that with you too.
Absolutely. Please go ahead and share your website.
It is rnbeauty.glossgenius.com.
rnbeauty.glossgenius.com. That is a mouthful. Wonderful. Well, there you have it, folks. This is the lovely owner of RN Beauty. This is Christina Dimitrov. RN Beauty stands for Radiant Natural.
Radiate Natural.
Radiate
Beauty.
Natural. We were close. There we go. So please check out the website if you want eyebrows. What else?
The future will be lips.
Lips and nipples. We're coming. Nipples are coming
yeah.
for you soon. And if you are a man or you know a man who needs to get something done, please send her over. Send them over here. Thank you so much, Christina. We loved having you, and good luck.
Thank you for having me.
You're
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
There you have it, folks. I am Christina Michelle with WRPB Studios. And one more time for the lovely Christina Dimitrov of RN Beauty.
Thank you.